I'm going to introduce my friend Damian Gregory. Damian is a senior mining professional with over 20 years of engineering and operational experience. He's an expert in strategic mine planning, resource and reserve evaluation, PE, pre-feasibility and feasibility studies for both open pit and underground deposits. He has covered a wide variety of commodities from around the world, and he is a co-author of several white papers related to mine planning and optimization. So welcome, Damian.
Thanks, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. And let's get going. Let's see which buttons to work here. So, what is Studio NPVS? Some of you may have heard NPV Scheduler, which came on the market in 1999. And a few years ago, we placed all these wonderful things from NPVS into Studio NPVS, so we can get advantage of all the wonderful things that come within the studio. As Andrew mentioned a few minutes ago, everything that is developed within Studio comes into all Studio packages. And this made Studio NPVS the most complete open pit planning solution. Why? Because it's a general mining package that can do pit optimization, pushback optimization, and schedules. There's no such other thing on the market. And I'm very excited to be the product manager for this wonderful tool. I'm a mining engineer, and as Bruno mentioned, I specialize in strategic planning. So I'm just over 18 years within Datamine, and 16 of those I've been taking care of NPVS. Here you can see where Studio NPVS sits within our portfolio. It's the first tool on the planning group. And just to let you know, this is not only used by mining engineers. So if you want to do a pit pushback and schedule, of course, you need to do lots of planning, and this is typical for mining engineers. But we have many customers, like resource geologists, that are using this tool to find out how big pit their model is going to take. And actually, we have several applications within this family. You can speak with your colleagues to discuss more about what each of these tools does. Why want to use Studio NPVS? Because mining is a complex exercise. You need to take care of so many different factors that the only way to actually make proper work is to run scenarios after scenarios. I'm glad that in all previous presentations, these different options was a constant theme. The same thing applies to Studio NPVS. You have to make different scenarios for the phase designs. You have to make different scenarios for the schedules and everything in between. We're going to focus on what we have done in the near future. Then I'm going to show you what we're working on and our plans for the future. I'm not sure how many of you have put your hands on Studio NPVS. Just want to remind everybody in this room what we have done. We added a new reporting tool that is allowing much easier to analyze every aspect of your project. It works with both tables and charts. You can change the active scenario. Immediately you're going to see the numbers for this active scenario. You can define charts with multiple axes. It's very user-friendly, easy to configure. All of this setup can be exported to XML file to be imported in a different project. In addition to making the report and showing numbers for a scenario, this little tool to compare different scenarios. So here you can select, you can see in one of the pictures here, I don't have my pointer, but you see on the interface where this tool is hiding. So you can start it, and you can select which scenarios I want to compare. So I can select between pit, pushback, and scheduling scenarios. I can select what KPIs to present, like total tones, total low tones, mil tones, grades, whatever you want. And it will show line for each of these scenarios. Another useful tool related to reporting is the option to combine different outputs in the same page. So you can have one or more tables and several graphs showing on the screen. This is something that you have enjoyed for quite a long time within MindMax scheduler. Now we have it in Studio NPVS as well. When it comes to making pushbacks, about a year ago, we added option to provide different mining width for every pushback. As you can see on the screen, for all pushbacks that don't have minimum mining width defined, it's using the default value defined on the previous tab. But for every pushback that you want to define next, you can provide the minimum mining width. Usually the small pushbacks you want to be a little bit smaller, and the next pushbacks can be bigger. It's up to you. You don't have to use it. We can leave all pushbacks at the default width. Now going to the most exciting thing that we have done recently. We allow the desktop to use multiple cores for computing different economic modeling bits in parallel. Because each of the bit optimization runs optimized incrementally. This cannot be run in parallel. What we can do is to compute multiple of these bits at the same time. So here on the default settings, we have an option to define how many cores you want to use. And this is particularly useful when you're doing sensitivity analysis study. This is another favorite of mine, this automatic sensitivity analysis tool. It is using the economic input and ultimate bit parameters for your base case study. You can click on the button Make Sensitivity Analysis Scenario, and then you're presented with this table where you can see on the first column is the base case values, and you can define the next columns what you want to analyze. For example, my base copper price is $3 a pound. I can run at 250, 275, 325, 4. It's up to you. And you can change the gold price, you can change the processing cost, mining cost, anything else that is part of the setup can be actually defined here. In addition, you can define the pit parameters, like what will happen if I change the pit by 1 or 2 degrees. What will happen if I increase the sinking rate. So all of this can be defined, and these scenarios will be computed in parallel, depending on how many cores you have. Just be careful, your computer must be well ventilated so it doesn't overheat. I'm telling you this from experience. I have to put my computer in the cold room in the winter in order to compute, otherwise it's shutting down. The result for this sensitivity analysis is numerous tables which shows the results for each of these runs, plus these automatic graphs. So each dot on this graph is one optimized bit. In the center is the base case, and you can see how the all tones, stripping ratio, profit, net value, whatever KPI you want is changing between each of these different scenarios. Now we'll talk about what we are working on currently. This is another favorite of mine. Implementing Maroma, this is a new algorithm into Studio NPVS Plus. Maroma is a mixed integer solver. It is based on Bienstock and Zuckerberg work on LP relaxations. For those of you that were present at the last year conference, Mark Zuckerberg presented his solver, explained how it works. Now we have the opportunity to actually see how this solver is used within Studio NPVS. We're going to have a beta version next month, and after that you can start putting your hands on it and see how it works for you. What will be the benefits? Compared to the existing solution that we have within Studio NPVS, Maroma will allow to get quicker practical schedules. It will optimize the schedule and stockpiles at the same time. And I had the pleasure to designing this new application, so the interface is so intuitive that doesn't need much learning to know how to use it. Just the quick comparison. You can see here side by side the task pane between Studio NPVS and NPVS Plus. We can see the differences. We don't have schedule and allocation flow as separate groups. Now the scheduling will take care of the same. We have many similarities because the only difference is in the schedule actually. So all the studio code tools, model definition, economic setup, ultimate bit, pushbacks, risk sensitivity analysis are the same. What is different is the schedule. NPVS is using dynamic programming versus MIP with NPVS Plus and Maroma. I mentioned that now scheduling and stop time will be optimized at the same time. We're gonna have new UI and updated price. Need to pay royalty to Mark Zuckerberg and his excellent work. So this is a few screenshots of what to expect. I'll just go slowly here. You're defining the different periods. Here we have flexibility to work with periods with different length. We can start with, depending on the lifespan of the project. Usually if it's less than 10-15 years, we want to make quarters and years after that. We can do similar if it's 100-year mile life. We can do 10, 15, 20 periods of 1 year, followed by X periods of 5 or 10 years. All of this is can be now configured. Then you're defining the mining rates. You can control the pushbacks in a similar way. What we try to do here is to simplify the input. So on the same page, you're defining as many relevant inputs as possible. So don't have to click from dialog to dialog and quickly set up the constraints that you have to follow. Here you're defining the mining rates. Oops, wrong button. You're defining stockpiles, defining the ore destinations. What we're gonna do next? We're gonna continue enhancing NPVS Plus to take care of multi-mine projects, to include the haulage analysis. We will not include all of this in the first version to make sure we can give it to you as soon as possible. And all of this additional work will happen in the next versions because this will be evolving in time. I'm gonna add a few more controls later. In addition to NPVS Plus, we're planning to change the interface for the other parts of the workflow, starting from model definition, economic model setup, ultimate bit pushbacks. You're gonna use the same logic as we have in the new Maroma interface to make it easier, a lot less clicks to define what you need to work with. And one of the things that we're going to do is to allow a single mine project to work with multiple block models. For example, I made a mine plan with pit optimization and pushbacks for the model in 2023. Now I want in the same project to get the updated model from 2024. In the past, we had to make a new project, so you can keep the previous setup and use the new one. But in the future, this will not be necessary. In the next steps of the development will be to integrate the OpenPit design tools within Studio NPVS. Whatever Andrew showed a few minutes ago, this wonderful pit and pushback design tools, we need to have them in the software where we're going to do the whole life of mine planning. Because now you have to export the optimized model from NPVS, put it into OP, create your phase in pit designs, bring them in NPVS for scheduling. It's not a difficult thing, but why we have to go back and forth since we can do it in the same application. Also, we are planning to improve the way we're dealing with modeling waste dumps. In current NPVS, for those of you that attend the workshop tomorrow, you'll see how we can compute the truck hours, but the modeling on the waste dump is defined by a linear increment of how many tons we have placing on the waste dump, which increases the cycle time and truck hours needed. In the future, our plans is to make waste dump progress similarly to mining the pit into pushbacks. So there will be waste dump stages, which will be basically upside down pushbacks. This will create even more realistic life of mine plans with more accurate computation of the truck hours. And we will also allow all these computations to be done on the cloud, particularly when you want to do sensitivity analysis. We'll extend this to simulation analysis. You can provide the probability of all the economic inputs like prices, recoveries, and so on. So you will be able to compute this several hundreds or even thousands of scenarios in parallel on the cloud and get the results within hours, not within days, or something that we just don't do it now because it's very hard to set up all of these different inputs. It can be done, but it's so time consuming, nobody even tries to do it. And this is the end. Any questions?